Hi, and welcome to the Dime to Diamonds podcast.
Where we transform your financial know-how from basic to brilliant.
Here, you'll learn everything you need to navigate your financial journey successfully, from best tips on getting financially organized, smart investments, to best savings accounts, retirement strategies. We're here to be your comprehensive financial consultants and retirement specialists. So join us and pave your pathway to financial success.
Hit subscribe now and start listening today.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dime to Diamonds. I am Suzanne Porsky with Phoenix Financial Group, and I am joined today. I'd like to say you're a guest, but you're a regular because I love having you on here. But
I get to be here so often. It's wonderful.
Yes. Introduce yourself to our guest.
I'm Rochelle Harp. I'm a CPA here in Broken Arrow, and I work at Harp Accounting.
Yes, and she is part of our family here at Phoenix Financial Group. Such a huge blessing to the staff, all of us, and our clients. We are joined today by Michael. And Michael, where are you from?
I'm the executive director of the Museum Broken Arrow right here on Main Street, and I've been here in the job for a couple months now, and it's been going absolutely amazing.
Wonderful. Well, welcome to this wonderful community. Tonight we have our lighting ceremony. I'm not sure if you've been a part of that before, but it's magical.
It is. We're preparing for it, and we have so many things going on tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. Yeah, it's not tonight. It's tomorrow night. Okay, well, I'm just a day ahead.
Extra prepared right now.
Yes, exactly. We're here to talk about, because I was telling you I'm getting so many calls from clients. We have RMDs, required minimum distributions, for our clients that are 73 or older. They don't want to take the money.
Correct. There's a lot of times people don't need the money, so they prefer to just leave it there. However, if they do that, you can incur penalties. And we don't want that, because that's just more money that you're paying to the IRS rather than keeping yourself or finding possibly another way, another avenue to use that money.
Right. And that's their whole thing. They said, we don't need it, we don't want it, but the government set it up in such a way that they have to take it out of those never before taxed accounts because the government wants their taxation. And so when we were talking and we discovered that there's a lot of people that don't know that they can do a
qualified charitable distribution from your IRA. And the benefit of that for the individual is that it reduces your tax liability. So any amount that you take out and you donate to a charity is tax-free, and it meets that RMD requirement.
Right. And so the best part is, especially with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act that took place, there's that huge, if you don't have write-offs more than a very large dollar amount, which a lot of retirees don't, they don't get to write it off. So what they do is they take their RMDs, they put it in their checking account, and then they tithe to their church, or they have offerings, or they donate it to a charitable cause, and they can't write it off.
Correct. So if you don't exceed the standard deduction, you're not able to itemize, and that's the only opportunity now that you have to take charitable donations tax-free, except for if you do a qualified charitable distribution directly from your IRA to a nonprofit organization, whether that's a church or just a 503c. And that portion is able to be tax deductible through that system.
Yay.
Yes, it's a great opportunity. Yes, we found it. We found it.
So when I was talking to you and said, what are some great 501c3s that we have in and around us, and I wanted to highlight them, I told you one of my favorite places is the Historical Museum, or Museum of Broken Arrow. Absolutely. From somebody who was not born and raised here, but lives here and has a business here and is thriving and loves my community, it was so nice to be able to go and kind of pull the curtain back and look and see why Broken Arrow, how it was established, and all that. And so that's why when I said, okay, who else can we ask? You said, Michael. So because you guys do take charitable donations, correct?
Absolutely. It's really the lifeblood of most museums.
Okay. What do you do with the money?
We basically put it back into the community, and that's what the museum is all about. So we do educational programming. We work on our exhibits. We were excited that Broken Arrow just turned 122 years old. And so we're telling that whole history. So any type of donation that goes into the museum, we're able to take advantage of that and share that story with our guests and with the community. So education, exhibits, programming, family-based, and it really helps us out in so many ways.
What is some of the history of Broken Arrow? How did Broken Arrow come about?
Obviously, we're on Muskogee land, so you start with that, the Trail of Tears, the Muskogee land. The name Broken Arrow is actually a Muskogee term, and we're actually the second Broken Arrow in Muskogee land when they came on the Trail of Tears. And so you start with that, and we go into the allotment, statehood, but obviously ranching, farming, cotton was huge at one point before it went away. And then you go into the development and the manufacturing that we have today. And so Broken Arrow has a very rich history, and really it's a blue collar type of city that everybody here just kind of pulls their collars up and gets to work. And we still do that at the museum, and we still share that history. So contributions like this help us so much.
I love it because when I'm in Leadership Broken Arrow, and we were there for a day, I didn't realize where NSU sits. That was coal, correct? And so that coal was extracted for what? Is that during World War?
Yeah, during World War II. So after the cotton, there was coal mining, and so there's always been these little manufacturing and different type of businesses here, using working off the land, but also being able to manufacture things too. So it's really a rich history, and obviously every city evolves a little bit, and so has Broken Arrow. And so that's the story we get to tell, which is so exciting. And people always get to come into the museum and go, oh, I didn't know that about Broken Arrow. And when we get that, that is absolutely priceless.
I've been in there when somebody has come and donated from a great grandparent or somebody like that, something, an artifact. And I'm just in awe of all that you guys have. I literally, I think we were there all day, and I could have been there a couple of days because every one of your exhibits. And is that because you get very healthy donations in the past, and that's what keeps it going, is by donations?
Through donations, either through financial donations or through objects that we get, like you were talking about. We also have a wonderful partnership with the city. The city built that building that we're in, and so we're very appreciative of the city of Broken Arrow. And so through those partnerships and those donations, we get to tell those stories. Even little things like we got a donation just a couple weeks ago, and it had little wooden nickels from Rooster Days from 50 years ago. Those little things, they add up, and you can tell a story with every single object that comes in. And that's kind of the fun part of our job. Where
did the log house come from?
The Childers Cabin actually was originally built here in Broken Arrow, and it was one of the Childers family, which is very well known in Broken Arrow. And it had to be moved. And so that is the actual cabin. And it was, honestly, it was donated to the museum while the building was being built. And so we had to reinforce the flooring to hold all that weight. So it's the actual cabin. It's a little bit shorter. So if you look at it, you can see where there's a little cut line. We had to make it a little shorter so we could fit the other exhibits in there. But it tells the rich history again of the Muskogee Nation, and their grandkids went on and actually served with the tribe as officials. And so we love telling that story, and that really gets to the origins of Broken Arrow.
And so I do know we have another Broken Arrow in the United States, which is...
I haven't been to that one yet, actually.
Okay. Yeah, because I think Lori Lewis was saying that there is another Broken Arrow, or maybe it was
the
Larry
Muskogee
Pennington.
one in Alabama, I believe.
In Alabama,
yes,
okay.
that's correct.
So that was Larry Pennington.
Yeah, and that's actually, if you look at our mural, which most people are familiar with on the side of our building, you can actually see the maps of Alabama with that Broken Arrow, and then the one here in Oklahoma.
That makes so much sense because I did not even know that.
Yeah.
I was not aware. I noticed the Alabama piece of it, but I was like, I don't know what that's that's for. So that's really interesting.
Right. The tricky part is because on the map on the mural, it's in the Muskogee language. It doesn't say Broken Arrow, and I cannot pronounce the Muskogee version of Broken Arrow. I haven't quite gotten to that part of it yet. But yeah, that's why there's two maps on there to show basically that relocation. And again, we honor the Muskogee people and in the land that we're on right now.
Oh, it's wonderful. So Broken Arrow, I think the story went that there's a couple of versions why it was Broken Arrow. Do you know that?
There's a couple different versions of where the name came from, but really the Muskogee people never actually broke arrows, that type of thing. They broke river cane, and they were able to make arrows out of that. And river cane was a great resource here in the Indian Territory for basket weaving, for blowguns, for those type of things. But the most people think that it was an arrow was broken to give peace to the land and everything like that. And really, it's kind of like New Jersey, New York. This is kind of new Broken Arrow. It was really just taking that name from their homelands and bringing it here to Indian Territory.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, because that's what I heard. It was the canes that they broke.
Yeah.
And they made the arrows, like you said, amongst so many other things.
Yeah.
So we are almost, 122 years old, our city? Is that what you said?
122. I believe it's October 16th is the official birthday of Broken Arrow. And so just last month, the town's a Scorpio. Not sure if that means anything, or a Libra, actually. But
Oh, I'm like, Scorpio.
there you go.
Today's my birthday.
Oh.
We Scorps. Yeah, we're strong.
Happy birthday. There you go.
Hey, we should have got a cake and had hats. I mean,
Oh, we're okay.
we could get you that crown.
Maybe 60. I'm only 59, so
All right, next year we'll do a big one.
there we go. So what are other some unique things that somebody might not know normally about Broken Arrow? Anything?
We have so many things. Obviously, the railroad was very important, and actually, the original founding of the town was a little bit south of us. And when the railroad came in, they actually had to pick up their houses literally and bring them closer to the railroad because they judged a little bit off track. So that was actually had to be relocated. Obviously, the railroad was huge.
So
here.
where is that now?
That is the exact spot. I'm not quite sure. I
Right.
just heard it's in South Broken Arrow.
Okay, so I think I heard that it's over kind of by Bass Pro Shop.
Exactly. Right.
Okay, that
Right,
part.
right. Yeah.
And so
had
they
to
were
move
up
it.
on that hill, and they were loving it. And then they're like, "So we're putting the railroad right here."
Right.
And the wives are like, "Howdy ho, pick up and get the-" We're not walking that far to the railroad because, if I understand it right, that was a big deal when the railroad came in. Everybody gathered around to get the news, the latest news,
Absolutely.
and their mail and.
Yeah.
And the goods and people, and it was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a source of everything. Obviously, they didn't have the internet. They didn't even have newspapers yet here in Broken Arrow. So the train brought news, information, technology. I mean, it brought everything from coast to coast. And so it was very exciting when the train came into town. because you never knew.
We still have the railroad in the same place right now?
The railroads, I think, moved a little bit, but basically it's the same place. Obviously, we don't have the depot anymore, but that's where the tree lighting is going to be tomorrow. So there's a little bit of history there. The ice rink is kind of where the depot is now. So interesting history in that location. But
Yeah.
again, it's right next to the museum.
Yes, it's so
Yeah,
exciting.
it is.
What is one of the most favorite things you have in there? Artifacts or house?
Actually, my favorite object, ironically, is a can. There was a cannery here in Broken Arrow, and then it became the Auburn Automotive Plant, which still actually has their logo on the side of the building. But one of the pieces that was donated was a can that says Broken Arrow Spinach. And it's just, to me, the most charming, fascinating little piece of history that most people don't know about Broken Arrow. And it's just a can of spinach, but it's this bright yellow and red graphic. I'm a graphic designer originally before getting into museums. So I just think this is charming little piece of history of Broken Arrow that most people don't know about. And so we have that on display to let people know that the manufacturer was just right down the road.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is amazing. Are the silos near there still near the railroad track? Are those still in use at all?
They're not in use right now, and I
Okay.
believe the one that's right behind the museum, the city now owns, and so
Okay.
they are doing some plans. I've heard through the rumorville, and hopefully we'll hear about those plans in the next couple of years.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
What are the hours for the museum?
The museum is open 5 days a week, and so Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday it is 10 to 4. Thursday we're open late, so we're from 4 to 8, and then Saturday we're 10 to 2.
And I had the awesome opportunity to rent. You have a wonderful space up on the third floor. What is that?
Yeah, basically that's available for anybody, private or corporate, to rent out. And obviously we have a beautiful view, and it's going to be really amazing for the next 2 months with all the lights and the ice rink, because we have a terrace on the third floor. And so you get to take advantage of that. But that's available for rentals for anybody. Just reach out to the museum and we'd love to sign you up.
And you have a kitchen in there.
Exactly.
You have all the capabilities. I had a PowerPoint presentation. We did our taxes and retirement seminars there, workshops there. Also, LBA was there, the Leadership Broken Arrow. We spent all day there. It is a little chilly because you have to keep it cool for the artifacts.
Absolutely.
Okay. That was my only thing, is like little star disclosure.
Yeah.
You're going to freeze.
Wear your jacket. Wear your jacket.
jacket,
or
yeah.
have
Even
your-
in summer and the heat, you know, it was very warm. That's
Yeah.
what they told us. And I was like, I wonder how cold it can get. Well, what do you have to keep it at?
Actually, it has to be kind of relative humidity, relative temperatures. And so it needs to be around 70 degrees, typically around 68, 70 degrees, and a low humidity. And that's basically to preserve the objects. That's what our goal is all the items that are donated to the museum. It's our job to keep them in the condition that they're in technically forever. And so that's why it's so cold, because cold helps preserve and make sure things don't deteriorate.
Right, because it was cold and dry, Michael.
It was. And nobody upstairs deteriorated either. You guys were preserved.
I stayed fine.
Okay, you were alert the whole time.
It makes a quick trip to the bathroom.
That's true.
There's no women in there chatting it up.
No, that's true. It's true. In and out. But yeah, we do that basically.
And you have an elevator and you have stairs, which was wonderful for my clients and the participants. And
Well, and I know one of the other things the museum does is it does tours for the schools around here. I also am curious about volunteer opportunities. So we're talking qualified charitable distributions, which is giving of money. However, there are a lot of other opportunities within all non-for-profits where there's need of time.
Absolutely.
One of the most valuable assets that we all have is our time. And so what are some of those opportunities that people might be able to look into? Or I'll let you take over.
No, yeah, we have volunteers. They mostly come in on Tuesday, and some of the objects that you talked about that are donated, like we have so many newspaper clippings and different collections that come in. All that needs to be inventoried on a regular basis to make sure we know what we have and research what we have for upcoming events or exhibits and everything. So coming in, and so people like loving history, if people want to do that, they can help research and catalog some of those items, some of the paperwork. If they like working with kids, as she said, we have the third graders here in Broken Arrow that come in and get a tour of the museum, and so they get to learn about Broken Arrow. Some people want to be docents, and so if you know the history of Broken Arrow, you want to share that with the kiddos, we would love to have that bring in
First-hand accounts for some of the individuals.
That's
or
true,
maybe
some of them.
maybe it's generational, but
Yeah,
no, I know here people come in here and they're like, oh, this used to be where they basketball up in our office area, or they go through the whole history of it. A year ago at the tree lighting, I believe, is when I went in there to the historical museum and met a lady and told her about my office. And I said, do you have any pictures? So she sent me some files and I was able to have them blown up. And that's some of the artwork in our office is those old pictures that people have donated and you guys have preserved.
Yes.
And then I was able to
shared.
Yeah, and share. And so people will come in here and they're like, I was there at that rooster day. Not when there was the buggy. I think I have one she told me was one of the first fire trucks, which is just a big cylinder of water and a horse and buggy. But the dirt roads out there. And so we were established in, what's 122 years from here?
I think it's 1902.
1902. Okay. Because I think I was told this building was 1901 is when it went up.
Yeah.
Our walls, because when we came in here, they just said, if you could be so kind to not put anything in the walls. We have a lot of freestanding stuff. And if you try to stick stuff on these walls, it will repel it because of all of the lacquer holding all of the stuff together. But yeah, I think we have such a rich history, and it's nice that there are donations, whether it's time or money, to keep it alive, because there's people like me, you know, that want to hear about it, and you feel more connected.
Yes.
And I think the people that were here feel valued and seen as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some of the founders that we have here, and we have a lot of families that moved in here, but everybody, I think, enjoys finding out the roots of where they are. Right. Obviously, I just came to Broken Arrow just a few months ago for this position, and I'm learning so much at the same time, but I've been in Oklahoma for 20 years now. But the history that's here is absolutely remarkable. Even this building, like, we have photographs of it being built right here on Main Street, and it's absolutely fantastic to see the same bricks that they were laying 100 years ago are still out there, you know, as I
right
came
here.
up to the right here. Exactly. They're preserving themselves. That's why it's repelling everything. But yeah, it's such an amazing, rich history, and obviously we have so many photographs of the parades and the festivals and the Rooster Days, and to still kind of have that today, like, you know, we're going to have the Christmas parade coming up. That parades in Main Street, Broken Arrow, have been going on for hundreds of years, and so we're still celebrating. We still enjoy Broken Arrow, and we get to share that with everybody who comes in.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So do you take any size donations? Is it just you have to donate a certain dollar amount, or can they any amount?
Any amount. We'll take anything that you guys are willing to do. Obviously, this is a great opportunity with what you guys are doing and getting it out to your clients, and anything helps us at the museum. We're a small staff, we're a small museum, but you know, we love what we do. We're passionate about it, and any type of donation basically goes a long ways to help us share this rich history.
So for our individuals who are very, very generous, I want to let them know that there is a cap of $100,000 per year.
Oh, okay.
So in case someone listening, that might be a concern of yours, that's great. Come talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah,
of
there is a cap of
Collectively?
100,000. Collectively, that would be married, filing jointly.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Can they break up that? Can they say, okay, we want this amount to go here and this to go to our church and this to go to another 501c3?
You can send as many out as you want to different organizations. The key is it needs to be directly from your IRA directly to the nonprofit. And so you can just reach out to the nonprofit or the church and say, hey, I need your information. Can you provide that to me so I can give it to my financial advisor?
Right.
So that they can distribute the money straight from there directly to that organization.
Right. So they go from a carrier like Fidelity, Schwab, North American. They go from there directly. And that's what I do. I fill out the paperwork for them. A lot of times you'll just come in and say, here's my idea. Can you make it work? And we can do that. And that's where I'm like, okay, let me just run this by you as well and make sure that this is happening seamlessly. I know the IRS does not want you to receive the money because as soon as you receive it and it's put in your account, that's where you have to itemize, and a lot of people can't itemize.
Correct.
And that's why we're pushing for this right now.
That's correct.
So whether it's right now and you're trying to get those RMDs satisfied before the end of 2024.
December 31st of every year, you need to have it done before then. Don't wait till the last day.
Do not, please do not call me on the 31st.
Yeah, that's a hard wire transfer to make. So
Yeah.
I had somebody that called me on Christmas and wanted it done, and I'm like, no, thank you. Still celebrating the big guy here, and maybe next week.
Yes.
And she wasn't celebrating because I guess she had done it the week before, and she went ahead and called the company and left a message there, and it went to her, so she didn't get that.
Yep.
That
It needs to go directly to the organization.
Right. So she gets a 1099 in January, and she said, no, I donated it. And I said, then you need to write it off on your, on the deductions. And I don't have enough deductions. So, which it was looking like the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was going to sunset. And it's still set to sunset unless the new administration gets in and gets that taken care of right away.
Correct. But that standard deduction is going to remain the same. So it's going to be at that upper threshold.
Whether it sunsets or not, it will
yes.
stay the same.
Yes. And so
Oh my gosh,
that's gonna
did you
be
guys hear
hard.
that? Okay. Because I have had some people that have said, well, if it doesn't sunset, maybe, if it does sunset, maybe I can, but it's going to stay exactly the same. So get it done. That's what
Yes.
we're trying to tell you is get it done. So.
And it's a great opportunity, right? So this is a win-win for everybody. So you are going to be doing this charitable donation either way.
Right.
So here's an opportunity to do what you want to do with your money, and you benefit. The individual gets the benefit. And who is the only person that's not benefiting in this situation? And
Let's
that
say
is
it together.
the IRS. So this is a win-win opportunity that you were going to do anyways. And this is just a better strategy to make it happen.
Right. How do they get a hold of the museum?
You can either give us a phone call or you can check us out on the website, which has all of our contact information. Again, I'm there 5 days a week and we have other associates, but just give us a phone call and we're more than happy to work with anybody.
And they're very active on Facebook, so you should go out and like, subscribe, follow. I'm not sure if I'm using the correct terminology for social media.
Yes, but no, let's
please
look at the camera and tell them you're going to
subscribe.
subscribe to this podcast, of course.
Of course.
And then follow Broken Arrow. I keep saying it wrong. I call it the Historical Museum.
What's the Historical Society are also known as the Museum Broken Arrow. So yeah,
Museum Broken Arrow.
Yeah, go on our Instagram and our Facebook. It's the Museum Broken Arrow, and we are doing so much more over the past couple months online to share that history. So even if you aren't able to come in, we have so much history that's on our Facebook page that you can learn about. Some of those great historical photographs that you brought up. Those are on our Facebook page, and we love sharing that story. But we also do live streams. We've been live streaming the parades. We're going to live stream the tree lighting tomorrow night. So we're much more active online also. So it's not just coming down here, but you can check us out online and see what's going on downtown.
I know last year they had the snow blowing. It was magical. I felt like I was in a Hallmark movie.
I'm definitely
If I
going
can
to
get sappy, I get sappy. I'm like,
yeah, this is great.
and because we're upstairs, we get to, look down. And I was like, it was nice with the 1.5-year-old. Because she was able to, enjoy all that. It was a little bit chilly, and we got to see all of it.
That's what I was going to say is it's warm up here.
Yes.
Maybe not at the museum, but it is warm up here.
Yes,
in this
exactly. Yes, because I don't like to be cold. So I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Again, we touched on a super important topic, which is the qualified.
charitable distributions.
Yes. and how to do that with your RMD. So you are avoiding the taxation on it, avoiding the headache of getting that 1099, trying to figure out if you can write it off, if you have enough tax deductions. This is super simple and easy. It takes a little bit more work because you're going to communicate with us so we can communicate with your carrier or your financial institution and have them send it directly to somebody like the Historical Museum. And there's any 501c3, so that is any charitable organization. And again, it's just a matter of having the conversation with myself or your CPA, your tax person, and getting that done. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing how this goes and how it works out and hearing some great results from it. So I am Suzanne Porsky, again with Dime to Diamonds and Phoenix Financial Group. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us. Okay. In closing, you have been tuned in to Dime to Diamonds, sponsored by Phoenix Financial Group, where we provide full service solutions for all of your financial needs. We do this through organization and offering you everything in one place.